All right, here we go again. Welcome in, everybody. This is Paranormal Watchtower. Brandon and Ray over here in the box. I'm sure he's waving at you. We are doing a continuation of last week's podcast. It was a big hit, and we got requests to do more superstitions.
Superstitions.
Yes.
You excited?
So, yes, I love superstitions. I love talking about it. And after last week's response to it, I think it was well deserved to do a part two.
So what do you got up first?
Oh, up first, we got superstitions and rituals dealing with witches and stuff that witches are supposed to do. And I found both of it pretty interesting.
So witchy superstitions.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, we all know about the red cardinals, right? We know about the cardinals and that they're supposed to be, but a visitor, when you see one in your yard, a loved one's visiting you or sending you a message.
Nice. I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't know that?
Nope.
Well, I thought that was common knowledge. That's okay. That's all right. You just didn't hear that one. Not in this. It's popular around here. Like every time my grandma used to say that. That's probably where I got it from. So, according to the rules of the witches, I don't know how you want to call it. If a cardinal is singing in your yard, it means that an old friend will be contacting you.
Like a
It just says old
friend.
friend. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I always thought of them as a visitation from the beyond, but apparently
that would make
more
more
to
sense.
it.
That would make more sense.
I think so. But either way, if your cat hisses at a stranger, do not let them in your home. The stranger.
I was going to ask the cat or the stranger.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't let the cat in your home to begin with, but that's what starts all this trouble.
Probably.
Yeah. So apparently they have a good sense, probably almost as good as a dog. See if I can ruffle any fur by talking like that.
Let him know, y'all.
Do you ever see those houses with the rectangle windows that are crooked? Do you ever see one?
I don't think in real life.
They'll line up with the roof.
The window. Oh, I got you.
Well, here, I'll show you what I mean.
Oh, you got a picture.
Right there. See how they're crooked like that?
Ever seen that before?
I've only seen it a few times. Okay. I've only seen it a few times. But apparently, witches do this for their houses to keep rival witches from flying into their home.
That makes sense, I guess.
I've never heard of that before. Maybe someone listening can verify that.
I mean, if you're on the broom and you're trying to lean, you're going to fall off.
Yeah. Yep.
So that makes perfect sense to me.
Burying a horseshoe under your front step will keep evil spirits from getting in your home. That one I've never heard of before.
Oh, I've heard that one.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've never done it, though.
I don't know why it's under the witch category, but
I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't think of witches when I think of horseshoes.
I didn't realize that burning sage was originally just a witchy thing. It says burning sage in your home to remove evil spirits. And I thought that was more of a spiritual thing than a witchy thing, but I guess
I thought that was a Native American thing.
Or that too, yeah. Who knows? But that's what it says.
Universal.
It says, if you believe your house is haunted, move furniture to new positions to confuse the spirits. That sounds like a house we talked about a few weeks ago.
I was just thinking that Sarah Winchester definitely bought into that theory.
She definitely did. If the furniture is moved to the same places they were before, you could have a bogart. Never heard that term before. I mean, I know what to bogart something,
Yeah,
but
but
I've never heard that you'd have a bogart.
I don't
What
know
is
what
it?
that means.
I don't either. Oh well.
JC, find out.
And then, oh, remember when we mentioned, was it last week, that if you ring bells, it's supposed to remove evil spirit, and I said, well, I have the opposite.
Right.
Apparently, the witches made that up too, to ring the bell to get rid of evil spirit.
Now, did you say they made that up?
I don't know if they made it up, but it's definitely in the witchy list. It is under the witches' superstitions. Um, oh, here, this one's interesting, and you can use this one at dinner time. If someone knocks their chair over when getting up from a meal, it's a sign that they just lied to you.
I don't like that one. I'm always knocking the chair over when I stand up.
Well, you better start telling the truth, damn it. You're gonna get yourself
I
caught.
try. I try.
You're gonna get caught.
Yeah, I'm not buying that one.
No?
Nope.
Hmm. Never lay money on the table before eating. It doesn't say why.
No why at all.
No, no why. Just never lay money on the table before eating.
I'm not sure what that's supposed to do.
Oh, never shake hands or kiss in a threshold.
How you gonna kiss under the mistletoe then?
Yeah, that kind of takes away all the fun from a mistletoe.
And you can't shake hands. Is that what you said?
Yeah, you can't shake hands or kiss over a threshold.
Hmm. Just bad luck, I'm guessing.
I'm assuming so, kind of like stepping on a crack. On a crack. I just like saying on a crack.
You don't mind on a crack, but you don't like the word debunked.
No, no, not at all. No, I'm not a big fan of that at all. Well, don't you think that's a dumb word? I mean, I don't know. Maybe you like it. I don't know.
I don't mind it. Like I've said, I've never really thought too hard into that word.
Yeah. Well. Oh, did we talk about the order? No, we didn't. If there are if three or more witches gather in a home, it's the youngest or the lowest level must make tea and serve it to the eldest or highest level first. So
I mean,
apparently
that's
there's a
just
pecking
respect.
order. There's a pecking order with witches.
Do you think they really do that? Any witches want to let us know? Is that still a thing?
Do we have witches listening to us right now?
Probably got a couple. I don't know if they'll have the answers, but maybe.
Are they really witches? Are you a real witch?
I don't know. I don't even know how. I mean, we can go back to like the medieval ages and test them.
Are you a good witch or a
Are
bad
you a
witch?
good witch or a bad witch? Has a house ever landed on your sister?
Yeah, I used that line with the ex-wife once or twice.
How'd that turn out?
Oh, well, she's an ex-wife, so it doesn't matter.
I
Doesn't
suppose.
matter. Oh, okay.
How about in Portugal? If you walk backwards, you're telling the devil your location and where you're headed.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, apparently it's a Portuguese thing. Never heard of it myself. Apparently
If
it's a
you walk
huge
backwards, you
superstition.
can't walk backwards at all.
Now it says it's essentially a way to tell the devil about your location and where you're headed. Like to
Hmm.
me, I would have thought that would confuse him, but apparently that lets him know where you're at.
Apparently, witches are only supposed to wear black on, well, are supposed to wear black on Wednesdays, purple on Sundays. Again, doesn't say why, but I would guess that most witches just wear black all the time.
You need a better source, apparently.
But apparently, supposed to wear purple on Sundays, which may have to look into that as to why that would be. This one's better. Do not sleep with wet hair, or your dreams will bring madness. So
I've
I don't
never
have
heard
to
that
worry
one.
about that. I don't
No,
have to
you're
worry about
safe.
that at all.
You're
Yep.
safe. I'm a little worried. I don't know if I ever gone to bed with wet hair, but
Oh,
I'm gonna have
I
to keep that in
have.
mind.
Believe it or not, I used to have hair at one time.
1923.
Well, 22, 22,
How long was it?
uh, down to my shoulders, but I only had long hair for about 3, 4 years. But it was kind of like yours, all from the top.
We're gonna need some pictures.
I've showed you the picture already. You've
I
seen it.
mean, we gotta put them on the podcast.
Or you want me to send it along so you can add it to this
Oh
before
yeah,
we air it?
I'm sure everybody agrees with me.
And most people, if they see that picture, they're like, "That's not you. That's not you." I don't believe it. Well, it
Now
is.
let me ask you this:
Mm-hmm.
Are you growing a goatee?
Oh, does it look like I'm growing a goatee?
You look different. I'm saying you look a little different tonight, and I'm trying to figure it out. And I'm thinking it's a goatee.
Yeah, there might be a little something to that. I
I'm,
wonder how
I'm
many people in the
guessing.
chat noticed it.
I'm guessing all the ladies like the minute you popped on, like, oh, he's got
I,
a goatee.
eh,
Guys don't notice.
you're right. Guys would not
No,
usually
they're
don't
just
notice
like
that type of stuff.
he looks different. What is it?
Mm-hmm.
New necklace, new headphones. Nope,
No,
goatee.
no, no. Think we got off topic a little bit there.
I mean, I don't care. I was giving you time to read.
Oh, is that what this was?
Yep.
Well, you gotta talk longer.
Talk longer. How
Yeah,
about
talk longer.
sticking chopsticks upright in your rice is taboo in China and Japan? Apparently, that's how they
Taboo.
pay tribute to their ancestors, so it gives the impression that your food is meant for the dead.
Hmm.
I wonder how many times I've been eating rice and just put the chopsticks right in it and just let it sit there for a second.
Just to watch it stand up.
Well, yeah, you're talking or something, you just stick them down in there so you don't lose them.
Hmm. Here's one for you to
And that's
ponder.
why I lose chopsticks.
That's why you lose chopsticks. If a witch goes to church or temple, and it actually says of another god, she should sit in the back row. But I've seen movies like that where a witch will go to a church for one reason or another, and they do always sit in the back row. I never dawned on me until I read that, and I'm like, yeah, they kind of do. And now we know there's a reason for it.
Now, this is slightly off topic, but I have read that apparently the church in when they were, persecuting the witches, actually had Christian witches that helped them hunt down witches. Now, I don't know how
And
true that is, but I read about it. So somebody wants
well,
to do some investigating for me.
did you read it online? Because if it was online, you know it had to be true.
I mean, I'm sure it was online. They don't make
Mm-hmm.
magazines and books anymore, so had to been online.
Well, they still make books.
Barely.
I
All my
mean,
books are on my Kindle, so
you have
there.
a Kindle.
Well, the
All
Kindle
right,
reader on your phone,
I'm
Apple
gonna leave
Boy.
that alone. I'm gonna leave that alone. Does it read along with you, or does it read you the article?
No, I don't need the audio version. I can read. I don't know how they do things in Wisconsin, but here in the middle of the country, we can read.
Round these parts, it's a
Round,
50-50.
round these here parts.
Yeah, round these here parts, it's a 50-50.
But I thought that was kind of curious. Like, that's kind of sneaky to use Christian witches. And I didn't even know there were Christian witches. So forgive me, witches. I did not know that. But apparently they used them to hunt down pagan witches, which to me sounds like a movie. So it's possible I was dreaming or maybe watched a movie. I don't know.
Says you're supposed to start new endeavors by facing east whenever you start something new. And it goes on to say, never start anything new on a Friday.
Oh, I mean, that's my philosophy. I do not try to do anything on a Friday. It's just bad juju. You'll be working all weekend long if you try to do something on a Friday.
Won't start anything new on a Friday. That's interesting.
Never. I did it one time, and I had friends coming up to Grand Island. I ended up working all weekend and didn't get to see my friends.
Aw.
Never again.
When making a camp, sleep with your feet pointed towards the direction you will be headed in the morning for a quick and speedy travel. These just
Makes
like
sense.
words of advice is what it sounds like.
I know. I thought these were witchy superstitions.
I'm still under that category. I'm
Let me
still
hit
under
you
that
with
category.
in China and Korea, if you whistle at night, you catch the attention of wandering spirit and invite them to your house.
Yeah, that's not just there. I've heard that several times. I've actually whistled because of that. Like
I
went
didn't know
against it
that
and
one.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I've been in
Um
like a cemetery investigation, and the live was like, "Don't whistle in the graveyard," and I did because I don't know what that's supposed to do if you do it. Nothing happened.
yeah. It's supposed to bring them out, but I mean, why are we there if we're not there to bring them out? You know,
It's a good
other than
question.
visiting a loved one perhaps, but oh,
Go,
here we go.
oh, go ahead.
Why? Be careful with all your nail clippings. Make sure you dispose of them properly along with fallen hairs to prevent another witch from casting a spell on you.
That makes perfect sense.
Yes.
Like I thought we were going to get weird in it for a second, the way it was going.
So when you bite your toenails off, make sure you swallow them.
Ew, who bites their toenails?
I don't know.
That's pretty flexible.
I don't know. I'm sure there's some in here that could do it. I'm guessing.
JC, I would bet $75 JC bites her toenails.
You bet $75.
$75.
Ooh, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a hard one to take, right?
I don't know if I want to take that bet or not. I don't know. Yeah, it might surprise you. Okay. If you have to speak the name of an enemy, spit on the ground after you speak it.
I always do that.
You always spit on the ground?
Yeah, like Brandon.
I can see that. I can see you doing that.
I
If
mean,
I
it
ever see
makes
you doing that
sense.
in the video, I'm going to know why.
Uh,
I'm going to get it right away. Be like, that son of a.
that was directed at me.
Yeah, it was.
Did you know
I
that?
do have some. Well, go ahead.
Did you know that in Turkey, chewing gum at night, it means the gum is actually the flesh of the dead. That is the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
All right. I'm going to ask you to repeat that because it's so strange.
I'm going to repeat that and I'll read it exactly like it says. According to a Turkish legend, when a person chews gum at night, that gum is actually the flesh of the dead. The legend's origins are not clear.
Sounds delicious.
I mean, who's messing with the kids in Turkey like that? You know that started from a mom. It's like, you can't have bubble gum before bed.
Right?
Yo,
That one sounds pretty far fetched, but we'll roll
yeah,
with it. Roll with it. A lot of the superstitions that we know of today started back like in the Victorian era.
makes sense.
And I just so happen to have a list.
Oh, of course you do.
Yeah, yeah. Um, during a funeral, you are not allowed to talk around the body, only soft whispers.
Mm.
They were afraid that it would wake up the dead.
What? That was not what I was thinking.
What were you thinking?
I was just thinking, yeah, it's respectful. You know, be quiet, whisper, keep it down. I did not think you would wake up the dead. That
Mm.
was not on my mind.
Well, yeah, I can see where you would think it was just a respect thing because that makes sense.
I mean, you don't usually hear a lot of loud talking at a funeral,
Oh God.
I don't.
I hate to keep bringing it up, but my mom died about a year and a half ago, and her funeral was surprisingly loud. Like there was so many people. Of course, they usually have every funeral home that I go to has like a big uh welcoming room, if you will, and then they have the visitation and viewing room next to it, which is where they hold the actual funeral ceremony and whatnot. But the outside room was just so loud. Like people were talking and, telling stories and how they knew my mom, she's done for them and all sorts of stuff like that. So it was pretty loud. There was a lot of people. They weren't talking loud, but when you get a crowd of people talking, it gets pretty
Yeah,
loud.
it's pretty echoey in there too.
How many times can I say the word loud in 60 seconds?
About 20 every 3 words.
Every 3 words. Yeah.
Did you know that you're not supposed to gossip in front of a cat?
Why? Because a little snitch bitch will go and tell everybody?
Because he will go and gossip about it.
I knew it. I called that one. I called it.
Makes
I
perfect
called it.
sense too.
Them
Cat,
little
you can't trust
snitches.
a cat.
Hell no. They used to hang a black wreath or a ribbon outside the family of a family who had a death in the household, so that passersby would know that the whole family was in mourning.
I can see that. That must have
Hmm.
been another Victorian age thing.
Well, they probably didn't have Facebook to post that somebody passed
They
away.
probably didn't have, I can
No, they
guarantee you.
probably in the Victorian ages they probably
Yeah,
didn't have
you were a
Facebook.
teenager. Did they have MySpace
Well,
back
right,
then?
yeah, I don't remember it being a thing back in the early 1900s. No, I don't.
Late
Late
1800s.
1800s, late 1800s. I don't remember
They were
that
a
being a thing.
superstitious crowd and very like spiritual. The whole Victorian era people.
I love the Gothic Victorian style. Like I
Yeah,
love that. It's
they made
awesome.
some gorgeous houses and stuff, but
Hmm.
they were a little weird.
Even the stationery used in the funeral, everything. What I like about the Victorian age is everything they did was with purpose. Like everything dealing with death or funeral or illness had something to do with it. It had meaning behind it. For instance, even the stationery, the thickness of the lines. Did I say lions? The thickness of the lines
Rar.
meant something. Um, yeah, you can't do that and me not do it back. That's just rude.
Oh, I know. I know.
I totally lost my spot now. Um, okay, the thickness meant how much they were in mourning, like how sad they were, was depicted on the stationery, like all the signs in the funeral, the
How do
notifications
you
and
know
whatnot.
how sad they were?
Well, I mean, who gets a thin line is my question. You know,
I
like
mean, he
like
didn't have many
some
friends.
some asshole didn't have any family and we're just throwing this together because
Yep.
we had $50 here. You get real thin lines,
Here's a black thread. Enjoy.
and they, they actually showed like 6 different thicknesses of these lines for the stationery.
I
And
wonder if, like, can you imagine the funeral director being like, look, on a scale of 1 to 5, how sad are
yeah,
we talking?
I mean, how much was this? Does it go by how much they were liked? It must be because it's how
I,
much they mourn the person.
I could see that in the Victorian age. Like, oh, a
Mm.
billion people are here, so they must be really sad.
Hmm.
I don't know. That's strange. I did not know anything about that one.
They used to send people home from the funerals with a gift. They would make a special, what did they call it? A little black biscuit that they would send everybody home with. They were real fancy, and the ones that I found online were kind of shaped like a spider, kind of. They would get them from either a bakery or one of the
So not
family members
round,
would home
like
make them.
teardrop shaped, or
No, they were like oval and they had little legs coming out of them.
oh, they actually had legs on them.
Yeah. And
The
they had a
fuck is
little,
wrong with
sometimes they
people?
had a message that would go along with it, like something that the deceased, a phrase that the deceased really liked or something like that, or something to remember them
Oh,
by.
so not like a fortune cookie type thing.
But they would eat it. Yeah. It's like a biscuit, but they call it a biscuit, but it looked more like a cupcake.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you.
Where do you find these?
Hey, I can't reveal my sources.
Imagine getting that spider, you crack it open. It's like
I will
Aunt
say
Thelma
thanks.
didn't really like you.
I will say thanks to Tina for helping me find this stuff because
Oh, okay. Now this makes so much more sense.
yeah, I may have had a little bit of help on this one,
Appreciate you, Tina.
right?
Do you know what? Well, let me pass this on. In ancient Britain, women carried around acorns to stay young.
How did an acorn make them young?
The oak tree was believed to provide longevity and to ward off illness due to its long life. So you must be absorbing the spirit of the oak tree.
We talked about how they would cover mirrors then, and that's a Victorian thing too. If there was a mirror in the room, they would cover it with a black sheet. I don't know why, but back in the Victorian days, they had a fascination with black. Like everything, especially if there was a funeral,
I
everything was black.
noticed.
Everything was black.
They were like
So
emo and goth before there was emo and goth.
exactly. And even if they didn't have a mirror, what they would do is they would hang a black cloth or a black curtain over the fireplace mantle. And another thing, side note to that, some people might not realize, but there was no like furnaces back then. Every house had a bunch of fireplaces.
There's no
You know,
central heat and air.
no, no central air. Nope. Nope. No central heat or air. So they had fireplaces in almost every room.
There's this mansion outside of town here that was built in the late 1800s, and it's got a billion fireplaces, it looks like. I've taken some pictures of it with my drone, and there's a ton of chimneys coming out of that house.
Now you know why.
Well, I mean, I kind of figured there was a fireplace at the bottom of the chimney.
Well, yeah, but why would there be so many chimneys? Anyway,
Look,
now
I
you
may
know.
be from Kansas, but I know they didn't have central AC and heating in the Victorian age.
Well, I'm just saying it might not dawn on everybody when they hear that, you know?
It's weird to see because you definitely don't see stuff like that nowadays.
All right. They used to make coffins out of wicker. Now ask me why.
Why?
I was wondering if you were ever going to ask.
Suspense, man. I've talked about this. You got to build that suspense up.
Coffins were made out of wicker because they were used for transport. They were lighter when transporting a body, and people still use wicker coffins today because they're biodegradable.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Is
That I
that
didn't
why they
know until
used
I read
them?
it.
Is that why they used them back in the day? Because
Yes, that's why they used them back then, even because they would become one with the earth.
this one's right up your alley.
All right, let's hear it.
It's believed that saying "rabbit, rabbit, rabbit" on the first day of the month brings luck for the rest of it.
Really?
I have never heard that, but I'm going to start doing it.
Rabbit, rabbit, rabbit. Does it have to be the first day? What happens if you say it on the 16th?
It don't say. It just says on the first day.
So,
It's in the UK and North America, even though I've
so
never
it's,
heard of that one.
so it's not bad luck to say it today.
I don't say that. Maybe down the list it'll say, if you say rabbit, rabbit, rabbit on any other day, it's bad luck.
Whap it, whap it, whap it. It's your turn.
Okay, this one is. Oh, you
Okay, I
want me
guess
to
not.
whap it, whap it, whap it?
Wow, you're kind of slow on the draw tonight, Ray. I gotta tell you.
Well, no, here's the thing. I slide to the next one, and now I'm concerned because it says the title is Sleeping with Your Head Pointed North.
Oh, oh yeah.
And now I'm worried because I sleep with my head pointed towards the north. And it's talking about you'll die prematurely.
Oh,
Comes from Buddhist beliefs, apparently, in which the dead are laid down with their heads facing north. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
I'm
So
switching my bed around tonight, though. I mean, I'm cranking that. We're
yeah,
gonna be. You said face east, right? If you got something to do or something like that a little bit ago.
yep, yep.
Yep. I'm like,
Faced east.
that's
I'm
gonna
just
be
trying
an
to
awkward
think.
place in the bedroom for a bed, but whatever.
Come to think of it, my bed is facing east when I'm sleeping in it, but my head is on the west side, but I'm facing east.
As
Know
long
what
as
I
you
mean?
ain't pointed north. Wait, it says, yeah, it says with your head facing north. Kind of weird grouping
So,
of words.
depending on how you look at it, you might not be, you might be all right the way it is
I might be. I'm just probably gonna have
because
to
you're
take my
facing the
chances.
south. If you have your head on the pillow, you're facing south then.
No, I'd be facing like east or west if my head on the pillow.
Well, anyways, I don't know. I've never seen your bed. I don't want people thinking I have.
That's not
Nope.
true.
No, I haven't.
You saw the horse chicken in the bathroom and the bedroom.
Oh, I barely even remember it.
Hey, just
The
keeping you
horse.
honest.
We're not on TikTok. You can say
I'm not
what it
saying it.
was.
It's I don't even say it here at home. Like if y'all
Those of
don't
you who
know,
don't know,
mm,
I took a giant rooster and I chopped its head off. It was a statue, not a real one, a statue, and I put a horse head on it, which everybody knows what a rooster is called. Another word for rooster. Put a horse in front of it. I had that as a little white elephant joke, so to speak, and
and
put it for funsies. I put it up in an auction, and Ray's wife Katie decided she wanted it, so she bought it.
not only that, she put it on the back of the toilet in the master bathroom. So every time I go in there to use the restroom, I'm staring face to face with a horse chicken.
It's not nearly as fun when I don't know why we're not saying the words, but whatever, it's
I
fine.
told you I don't say it. It's horse chicken. I
Horse
think it
chicken.
I think it brings good luck if he's staring at you while you use the restroom.
Hmm.
Just made that up, y'all.
I like it.
I mean, otherwise it's just freaky,
All right. Now
creepy.
here's a useful one that you might raise an eyebrow for you. Do you know why flowers are associated with a funeral?
To
Do you know why
cover
that
the
started?
smell of the
You
body.
got it, buddy. To cover the smell. Because back in the day, again, no air conditioning, no freezers, and they would come right to the house. Uh,
I think my wife actually told me this one before.
so the flowers were there. They would bring flowers to mask the smell of the decomposition. Mm-hmm.
Another one that's got me concerned. Never say happy birthday too early. Celebrating or even congratulating someone for their birthday before the day arrives brings misfortune on that person.
So wishing somebody a happy birthday before it's actually their birthday is bad luck.
Yeah, and I do that a lot.
I guess we're gonna have to stop doing that.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, y'all, you ain't getting an early happy birthday from me no more. I apologize if I brought some bad shit to your life.
It happens. Did you know that there's a pecking order as far as where your rooms are in your home?
What do you mean?
Most important rooms of the most important bedrooms are in the front of the home, according to the Victorian
Oh, okay,
era.
I got you.
Um, so in other words, it would go. I'm looking at the list here. It says parents are in the front of the house, the very front, and then the children, like in the middle, towards. I don't know how big these people had their houses, but and then if they had servants, they would be way out back. So there was an order
So the important
where the
people, mom and dad, could get out of the house if there was a fire first.
maybe it had something to do with that.
I mean, it probably did. You know, in hotels,
Mm-hmm.
the reason, I don't know if it's still this way, but it used to be cheaper to stay up on the top floor than the bottom levels because those were the people that probably weren't going to get out of a fire.
Mm-hmm.
Like the
Well, history has
reverse
shown.
Titanic.
Well, I was going to say history has shown that to be true.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not going to get into that, but
And I didn't know that till I stayed in this hotel in Kansas City. It was like 16 stories. And I was like, heck
oh,
yeah, I'm pimping. I'm on like the 13th floor. And then like one of the people that worked there told me that. It's like, damn, I
you
did
weren't
not.
on the 13th floor.
Well, you know what I mean. I was up there. I wasn't clear at the top because that was a bar. But me and my son were way the heck up there.
Most hotels don't have a 13th floor
Oh, you know
because
what
it
I meant. Okay, we
because
were
it's
on
scary.
12. We were
Because it's
way up there.
scary. It's
Why is it
scary.
scary?
It's
Be
13. It's
scared.
bad luck. It's scary.
Don't be scared.
Don't be scared.
Either way, now you
I
know
can't
that.
believe you just made me say that.
Ah, you know, in the Filipino culture, you don't go home right after a funeral or the bad spirits will follow you.
Where are you supposed to go?
They just stop somewhere. I mean, we kind of do the same here. We just don't put a conspiracy or a, not conspiracy, a superstition against it, you know?
Superstition.
Yeah, it's like, you know, you bury a buddy or something, you're usually stopping at a bar or something on the way home.
Hmm.
Don't drink and drive.
Right. Absolutely. Don't do that.
But, you know, there's always, or even just a regular funeral, you're going to have some lunch or something afterwards with everybody before you go home.
When do you think the now this is going to sound random right off the bat, but I'm going somewhere with this. When do you think the boomer era started? The
I'm going
baby
to go
boomer
with
era.
like 1945.
Okay. It probably started before that because of this reason. Because it says in the Victorian era, they actually had more kids than they wanted because, uh, according to the study, uh, most families that had nine kids or less only had two make it to adulthood, um, which is really sad.
It's not good odds.
No. So two out of nine, I mean, that's less than 20%. So that's not good. Well, it had to do with a lot of sickness. So much so that they made so many, most of the coffin makers, first they were, back then they didn't have just coffin makers. They were cabinet, or not, the people that make like cabinets. What are they called?
Right. Carpenters,
Yeah, basically.
woodworkers,
Uh,
woodsmiths.
sure. The same guys that make your kitchen cabinets were the same guys making your coffin.
That makes sense. I mean, they're the ones that know how to build that stuff.
And it was so bad that they made mostly child-sized coffins because of that.
I can see that. I mean, a lot of times, even the treatment, you know, in the Victorian era was worse than what they actually had. I mean,
Hmm.
a lot of people have gone for some weird medicine. Wasn't it President Washington that was accidentally killed because they were bleeding him to help him feel better? I want to say that, JC.
Oh,
Look it up.
bloodletting.
Right. I think that's how President Washington died.
I believe so. Yep. They believe that if you ever see like how it's done, it's shocking, shockingly violent actually. How it's done, they just
I'm
got these
guessing.
spikes that shoot into. Have you ever seen a bloodletter?
No, what?
What it is it's a cube. Don't ask me how I know this shit. Okay, is I just do. But it's a chunk of metal about so big, right? And it looks like a block. And in this block, they have spikes that come down in the bottom, spikes or pins, depending on what style. And they would push it against your skin and then press the like a lever on the top, and it would shoot that into your skin. And then you would bleed profusely. And they would call that bloodletting because that was their way of letting out the illness from your body.
Damn. I thought
Yeah.
maybe they just cut you a little bit, you know.
No,
I know
no,
they had a
it's
contraption.
oh yeah. And I've been trying to get one
Of
for a
course.
while
Of
because
course you are.
they're expensive. If you look up bloodletting on eBay, you'll see exactly what they look like. Maybe if Ray can find one, he'll put it up before this airs.
I'll try to find a picture, but I'm not Googling that shit, I don't think. That's all I need.
You don't want to get on that watch list?
No.
Come on, join the same watch list I'm on.
How many doctors in that era do you think were actually psychopaths? H. Holmes, Jack the
Well, he
Ripper.
was the start of it. Yeah.
Like,
Those two might be one and the same.
they might be one and the same. They make a good, compelling case about that.
Mm-hmm. Uh,
But
this one I found interesting. Now, it's almost like they made women mourn their husbands if they lost them. The women were shunned if they did not mourn in 3 stages. They had 3 stages of mourning that every woman had to go through when she lost her husband. The stages are this. For 1 year, she had to dress in nothing but black for the first year. Then there was another stage 2 was a 9-month period when she could wear a little bit less black, you know? And then after that 9 months, there was a third stage from 3 to 6 months. So basically, I'm guessing there was no man afterwards, or if so, it was over 2 years before they could date again.
and all that happened if you didn't do that was they shunned you.
Yeah, yeah. They. It actually says that they were shunned if they did not abide by that.
You know, there were some ladies out there that were like, "F you, shun me, whatever."
Hmm,
He was an asshole.
I don't know. I think times were different back then. I don't think they had quite so much rebellious
Well,
people
unlike
back
you,
then.
I wasn't there, so I'm just gonna have to take your word for it.
Well, from what I remember,
From what
it
you
uh, it was a completely different time. You know,
remember. Did you know that awkward silence means an angel is passing over?
I did not know that.
Right. So I'm figuring in one
Hmm.
podcast we probably have like 6 or 7 angels that go over.
See, hmm. At some point, we're gonna have a discussion about angels and demons and what we really think they are. Because I for one, and I'll just throw this tidbit out there for y'all to think about before we get to that podcast. But I'm just as afraid of angels as I am demons.
I'm more terrified of angels than I am demons.
So, oh, is that something that we agree on?
Oh yeah. I'll take on a ghost any day compared to messing with an angel. I don't want no parts
and
of that.
and it's been about 10 seconds. So everybody who asks why in the chat, you're just gonna have to wait. You're just gonna have to wait.
Yep. Stay
Yeah.
tuned.
Mm-hmm.
Don't trim your nails after sundown if you're in Japan.
The rule of 3 that I just went through, the 3 stages of mourning, apparently all started with Victoria. Queen Victoria. I actually wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. Queen Victoria, and then she actually died in 1901. And then
Damn, that late?
after her passing, then the rules started. They started lightening up on the rules. So that answers your question a little bit.
That's such a weird thing. Like I
Mhm.
understand different time, different time, but that's just weird.
Yeah.
My cable.
Do you remember when we talked about stopping the clocks when someone passes away and then restarting them after the burial? That was a Victorian thing as well. That's when that started.
Did you ever figure out why?
No, I searched and searched and I could not
Nothing.
figure out why. No,
That's
they
crazy.
never give a reason. They just say they do it. They just say it was common practice to stop the clocks when someone passes away and not restart them until after the burial.
I'm going to quit reading my list because it's just getting more disturbing the further down I go. You ready for this one?
Yeah, go for it.
Don't point directly at the moon, or the back of your ears will get cut off while you are sleeping.
Who cuts them off?
It don't say. Apparently, it's in Chinese culture.
Pointing at the moon will get your ears cut off.
The back of your ears. I don't even know what that means.
How do they? Yeah, how the hell do you cut off the back of your ear and not the front?
I don't know if they meant your like the little flippity flappity on your ear.
You have flippity flappities on your ears?
Most people do.
On the back of your ear, though?
I mean, not on the back really, but that's all I can think of. Are they just going to slice that off?
Are you talking about the
higher?
earlobe?
No, up higher.
Oh, you want the tip on
the flippity flappity.
That's the flippity flappity. Okay.
Yeah, that's in Webster's dictionary.
Is that called the Tyson?
Oh my God.
Who said that?
He did eat the dude's ear though, so.
Oh, that's the last guy you want pissed at you.
Was it
Old or not?
Was it Holyfield he bit his ear off?
I don't know nothing about it.
If somebody can reach out to whoever it was, I believe it was Holyfield, ask him if he pointed at the moon before he got the back of his ear bit off. I don't know him, so I can't ask him. I don't got his phone number. He don't follow me on TikTok.
Evander Holyfield or Mike Tyson?
Yeah, either. I don't think I'd ask Tyson that.
I follow Mike Tyson on TikTok.
Oh, he's on TikTok?
Oh yeah.
I did not know that.
Yep. So there was no ambulances back then. So the undertaker would come to the house with his embalming table, and he would also come with tools for prepping the body, such as hair curler and even makeup. So all that whole process, that whole gory process of well, they didn't really have embalming back then until I believe that didn't start till around Civil War era. But they still had to do all the prepping of the body for the funeral. The undertaker would do it all, and he would do it right there in the living room.
At the house?
At the house.
I did not know that, honestly.
Remember the boards that they're... Remember me telling you about the board that I have? I have
one
of those boards.
I knew they had wakes and stuff, but I didn't know they did all that at the house. I thought...
Yeah.
I don't know what I thought. I probably thought they didn't do anything. They just buried the body.
But they do. I have one of those body boards.
Now you know.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe bad luck comes in threes?
I believe everything comes in threes.
It seems that way, don't it?
Good, bad, and indifferent. It all happens in threes.
You know what you don't want to have in threes?
What's that?
Sixes. You don't ever want to get that 666. That's bad luck.
Is it? I've never heard that before.
It's bad luck, y'all.
Why is it bad luck? I don't tell me about it.
I mean, it definitely comes from the Christian faith, but
Hmm.
like I'm superstitious enough about that. And anybody that's ever in alive with me will tell you if somebody's got 666 coins, I'm giving them a coin. If
You
a
gotta
video's
change it
got
up.
666 likes, I might not even like the person, but I'm gonna like it just to get it
Wow.
off that number.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm a
Wow.
little crazy about that. I
Hmm.
apologize.
That's an interesting tidbit.
I don't even like talking about it. It's scary.
The Undertakers actually conducted the funeral ceremony as well.
So you just did it all. Makeup,
Hmm.
embalming, if there was embalming, whatever, prepared the body and the funeral service.
Have you ever heard of a burial shroud?
I've heard of the Shroud of Turin.
Well, a burial shroud was invented as it's a thin black, let's say, kind of looks like a hooded robe. Okay. And that was used instead of clothing to bury people because clothing was expensive. So most people would be buried naked in other than the shroud, and that's how
What
they
they
would
do
be
with the
buried.
clothes?
They would pass them on to other family members because the clothes were so expensive and hard to get.
I didn't know that.
Mm. Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. In Egyptian lore, if you play with scissors, you'll get bad luck.
Wow.
I
We've
didn't know
always,
it was that old.
yeah, I was going to say, we've always heard don't run with scissors.
Don't run with scissors. Now
No,
we know why.
no, right. But I just thought it was weird that they were buried naked. I was like, what?
That is pretty weird. Like, that's not how it looks on TV when the cowboy goes down.
Uh,
Like, they buried him fully clothed with his guns and his horse.
did you know it's a bad omen if you hear a dog howl while someone's sick in your home? Oh,
I
I'm
did
sorry.
not.
At night. It has to be at night. If you hear a dog howl
It's
at
just a
night
night.
when someone is sick in your home, it is a bad omen.
I
I'm
didn't know that
assuming
one either.
it'll mean that they might not get better. I don't know. Don't know. Oh, apparently you can overturn it though.
Oh, how do
Want
you
to
do
know
that?
how?
Yes.
You can overturn it by reaching under the bed and turning over a shoe.
But what about the other superstition where your shoe has to be upside down? Playing with fire.
Right. So either way,
You got to take a chance,
you're taking a chance either way. Either a ghost is going to walk around in your shoes and hide 'em on you,
right?
or somebody's not going to get over their sickness. Make a choice.
Did you know that if a broom touches your feet while someone is sweeping the floor, you're destined to spend your life alone?
Really?
That's what it says.
Hmm.
Shared by many countries. I don't know. Is that a
Interesting.
witchy thing? I've never
It
heard
sounds
that.
like a witchy. Anything that associates with a broom automatically is witchy thing, if you ask me.
Oh, I agree. You got a broom, a black cat, or a cauldron. All witchy
Yes.
stuff.
Yes. Yes.
Don't put your hat on the bed, or you'll believe evil spirits resides in the hair.
Did you know
Okay.
obituaries never
Oh,
used to have information about their lives? It was strictly about how they died. It was about their death only.
I did not know that.
And it was only recently that they changed it around to, oh, this is what they did and made it all happy. It used to be the grim details of their death.
I did not know that. I'm glad it's changed. In
Yeah,
Turkey, never
in
jump over
Turkey,
a child.
never jump over a child.
Ask me why.
Why?
you will curse them to stay short for the rest of their life.
Oh, who jumped over you, Ray?
That's what I want to fucking know.
Who jumped over you? Who did you dirty?
So you're telling me I could have been 6'6", and instead I'm stuck at 5'9", because some asshat jumped over me when I was a child.
Yeah. So what happens if it's your brother or sister that jumps over you? Does that still count, or does it have to be an adult?
It doesn't say.
Ooh,
We need to find that out. That's a good
not
question.
good. Not good. Because, kids play. They roughhouse. I don't know.
Yeah. So this could very well, and my brother's shorter than me. So I
Maybe you,
apologize.
yep, you know how
I
that happened.
apologize. Yeah.
Oh, poor Roman. Oh, let's see. If a child drowned, they would keep the shoes or boots and hang them from the rafters in the attic forever.
Is that to do what?
Doesn't say. Just says that's what they did. Common practice. Kind of like a souvenir, it sounds like. Kind of
Yeah, I'm not sure
kind of
what that would do.
a grim souvenir though. But it's the shoes or boots that they drowned in.
Oh my God. So here's another horrifying one. And
Okay.
look, let me say, after I say the title of this, which is Never Take Photos of a Sleeping Person. Like, who cares if it's superstitious? Don't be taking photos of sleeping people.
I concur.
That's messed up. But anyway,
Yes.
it's believed the spirit of a person leaves their body when they sleep, and they can be captured in the photos with the blinding flash from the camera.
I've heard that before.
Really?
I've heard that one. Yes. Yes. And I completely forgot about it, but yeah, I've heard that before. And it makes sense. It really does.
It's kind of creepy to be taking photos of people while they're sleeping. I'm just saying.
Yeah, if you're one of those people, knock it off. I mean,
I
yeah,
can't
it's
believe you did
funny.
that before.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Tina, it's cute that I snore. You don't need to videotape me.
She tapes you snoring?
I don't know. I don't know. She
Tina.
always teases about it. I don't know if she ever actually did it because she never showed it to me. But she kids that she did, so I don't know if she actually did or not. I have to ask her.
And she's holding that for some evidence later on. Like that's in the
Maybe.
vault, is what that is.
Let's hope not. I'll give her time to answer. I'm sure she's watching.
In Rwanda, women are superstitious about eating goat meat because they fear it will cause them to grow facial hair.
Puts hair on their face, huh?
Apparently.
Now, would you rather have your woman have hair on her face or hair on her chest?
Oh my God. I wasn't prepared for you to just stump me tonight like that.
Think about it. Which would you rather have? Hair on her face or hair on her chest? If it was on the chest, you wouldn't have to see it all the time.
I know,
But
but
then again, it would be a little challenging after dark.
that's super tough. I mean, is she keeping the facial hair nice and trimmed and shit, or like she's
Hey,
like,
that's her own preference. Is it a
oh
big
my
old
God.
beard or is it, nice and trimmed up? Is it
I honestly don't think I could choose either one.
it's a
Which one
tough
would you
call.
choose?
I would say hair on the chest, so I wouldn't have to look at it constantly.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yep. That's what I would say.
Either way, that's disturbing as shit, that
It,
question you
it,
just asked.
it, I'm embarrassed of myself for even saying it. I'm ashamed.
You should be. But that was a great question in terms of stumping somebody. I bet nobody in the chat even was able to answer.
I've got a few more. So this one is one that I knew, but I didn't know the why. Okay. This is a good one. This is probably my favorite one of the night, actually. Now, let me ask you this. Do you know the difference between a coffin and a casket?
No, I thought they were the same thing.
Most people do. Most people think coffin or casket is the same thing, but they're actually very different.
What's the
Think
difference?
think Count Dracula, you know,
All right.
where it's shaped like comes down for the shoulders, small at the head, comes down to fit the shoulders, and then back in for the
Like
legs.
like the skeleton candy you get at Halloween.
Exactly. That's a coffin. A casket is a rectangle, just a regular rectangle shape. That's a
I didn't,
casket.
I didn't know they were two different things. I thought they were
Hmm.
just inter
Now,
intermingled.
that part I knew, but the part that got me is the why. Is the why
There's a
they
why to
changed it.
this.
There's a why they changed it from coffins because nobody's buried in coffins anymore.
No,
They're all in caskets. And the reason that they stopped making them, and I thought it was going to be a real deep, you know, philosophical, spooky reason.
turns out
But
that's not the case.
no, turns out it's for stacking purposes. They're easier to stack. That's
That's
it. That's
I
the
mean,
only reason they stopped making caskets because they're
and
harder to stack.
when you're talking about transportation wise, that makes sense.
Yeah, they're easy to transport, easy to stack. That's
Huh.
it. That's the only reason. I was very disappointed with that. I'm like, damn it. I
I
thought it
was
was going to be
expecting
something
something.
cool. Yeah. But hey, hope some of you might have learned something on that one.
Hopefully, that's our. That's what we're here for, is to educate you.
I've got one last tip.
One
One
last tip.
last one last tip. It's just that I won't say it.
I need a censor button.
No, there's no censor button.
I
That's
need
that's
one.
not fun. They uh the Victorian area, people in the Victorian area, they all believed that all old houses were haunted. They believed every home was haunted by the previous
That's
owners.
still a pretty common belief, I would think, today.
Yep. But it was even more common back then.
You
Like it
think it's
wasn't
more
they
common?
didn't yeah, they didn't question it. That
Right,
was
because
like
more people believed in the spiritual realm, huh?
uh, well, I
There's a
would
lot of
say
people nowadays
percentage.
that they're just so scienced up in the head, they can't believe in anything but what's in
That
front of their face.
yeah, if you're talking about because the population has grown multiple times over since the late
Right.
1800s, but they didn't have internet and they didn't have ghost adventures yet. So they still
Not yet.
believed, you know.
Shots fired.
Pew pew. So no, I don't mean that. That was just a joke.
That's usually a
But
joke I would have made. I'm surprised you
I'm
made that joke.
I'm surprised you didn't. I really am. I'm surprised you didn't. I actually like the show. I really do.
I
But
like the
anyway,
show. I have no problem with the show.
yeah.
It's just entertainment.
So what you got any more? That's all I
That's
got.
like I got
That
one
was
last one for y'all.
Can you
Don't.
imagine I was gonna do all those on the last podcast?
Oh my god, that would have drove me insane.
Would have been easily another hour. Easily.
Easily. Don't wear red during a storm, or it can
Why?
attract lightning to you.
Red attracts lightning?
In the Philippines, apparently.
Only in the Philippines.
Only in the Philippines.
So here in the United States, you're safe to wear red in a thunderstorm.
Allegedly. I mean, depends on which neighborhood you're in.
What the hell would color have to do with that? Is
I
it because I
It
know
doesn't
why?
say
I know why.
why.
Because God is in control of the thunder and lightning. And if you're wearing red, he confuses you with the devil and he zaps you.
Now, outside of cartoons, I've never seen the devil described as being a red little dude with horns.
Hey, I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
You trying to be funny?
No, I'm trying to back up your story.
Oh, I was just gonna say, leave funny to
I'm
me. You
I'm
handle the
just
serious.
I'm just naturally funny.
Oh, I almost said looking, but I held myself back. I
You
didn't,
could I would have expected you to say it because I totally would have said looking.
and that's why I didn't say it.
Hmm.
I'm pretty excited, honestly, about the Angels podcast we'll do eventually.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. People are going to learn a lot about the both of us, I think, as far as that goes. Mostly you, because you're pretty secretive about it.
I'm not secretive. People just don't ask the right questions.
Hmm.
They ask me questions like, would you rather have a girl with facial hair or chest hair?
Who would ask you something creepy like that?
Oh, man. Have you ever met anybody from Wisconsin before? Let me tell you about the people in Wisconsin.
Oh, tell me about them.
They eat a lot of cheese, they cheer for the Packers, and they ask you weird questions about women's facial hair.
Hmm.
That is what I have learned from knowing you these years.
See, I don't think everybody from Wisconsin likes cheese, but we'll just leave that one alone for
I'm
another
pretty
time.
sure you are the only person in Wisconsin that don't like cheese.
I can't be the only one.
You almost gagged on a podcast over just me saying the word cheese.
Oh, you'll never see me eat mac and cheese. If you ever see me eating mac and cheese, you better call an exorcist.
I'm going to keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
First, I'm going to have to find an exorcist,
Oh,
and
I
then I'll
got
call him.
I
You
got
never
one.
eaten mac and cheese, or you tried it and you're just like, nah, nah,
Oh,
nah, nah.
no, as a kid, I ate it fairly often. And then all of a sudden, it just flipped the switch and I couldn't stand it anymore. Now it's to the point where if my kids know not to even make it unless I'm out of the house.
Wow.
And if I'm gone at work all and they know I'll be gone all day, that's when they make it.
Now, let me ask you this very important question.
Hmm.
Where are you at on nacho cheese?
Pass.
You don't eat nacho cheese?
No, there's only two. Not people don't give a shit about this, but I eat mozzarella cheese on pizza and I'll eat provolone on my steak sandwiches. Other than that, no cheese. Oh, I take that back. Mozzarella sticks are the bomb. I love mozzarella
You
sticks.
like mozzarella sticks?
Oh yeah, love them.
Man, that is weird as shit because I like cheese. I love nacho cheese. Hate mozzarella sticks.
Really?
Do not like
I
them.
don't. I don't think I've ever met anybody who doesn't like mozzarella sticks.
I
And
like
this
some
is
good fresh ones. Like I don't like going to a bar or a restaurant and ordering mozzarella sticks. No,
since we're so far off topic. So
we're
what do
way
you
off
think of what
topic.
do you think of what do you think of the new look? Hmm?
I think it looks all right. It needs to grow out a little more down in here.
Well, yeah, it's a process, you know.
You must have just started this because I swear to God, I seen you the other day and you didn't have a goatee.
I actually started growing it before we recorded the last podcast, so you have to go back and check, but it was
Are you
starting
serious?
then. Oh
This
yeah.
is what I'm saying. Dudes don't have any idea about what's going on around them.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure a lot of the girls were like, "Oh, I noticed. I noticed."
I
Guess
don't
what?
think so.
Not a single
Nah.
guy had any clue.
No. Yeah,
I couldn't
girl.
figure it out tonight. I'm like, did he shine his head?
Yeah, women are more detail oriented.
Definitely.
That,
I'm not even
that's
gonna.
why they always ask us if we notice something different about them, and we never do.
Oh, I hate that question
Oh,
because
it's like,
you know you're fucked.
yep. And
You
it
hear
turns into
that?
a guessing game.
Because one, you haven't noticed already, which is bad, and two, you have
Hmm.
no idea what they're talking about, which is bad.
Right.
So y'all being a man's rough.
So have we decided what next week is going to be yet?
No, I don't even think we talked about it. What are you thinking?
Um, I don't know. I sent you a video and I said possible
Oh
podcast
yeah,
thing, but
the
I
other
can't
day.
remember what the video was right now.
I don't remember either.
Well, I guess it's going to be a surprise. You'll have to wait and see.
Yep.
Hopefully, this even goes up. And
Oh,
those
I'll
of you
get
who
it.
watching, if you stuck all the way to the end, you'll know that we just recorded this last night.
Yep. I'm gonna get it. I mean, seven. No, not even 7 o'clock. 8 o'clock. It's gonna be there.
It's going to
So
be
yeah, I
on
hope
by up
a
by
bunch of
eight
you are
o'clock.
watching this because I'm gonna have to put a lot of work in it the next
Mm-hmm.
day.
So you're going to have to go live on TikTok tomorrow morning,
Oh no,
and
I'll be
and
inside editing this.
oh, you're going to have to. You got to broadcast this. You got
Yeah,
to
because with my
advertise.
slow ass internets, if I don't have it started uploading by at least 2, 3 in the afternoon, it ain't gonna make it to 8 for the high def version.
Well, that's because you live out in the sticks.
It's not my fault.
That's all right. Hope you guys all enjoyed our superstitions, or should I say superstition?
Superstitions.
And after, I hope it was as good as the last one. Let us know in the comments. And join us next week, Wednesday at 8 o'clock Central Time on YouTube here on Paranormal Watchtower. We'll see you.
Have a good night, everybody.